Okay, we are on YouTube. And record this. To spotlight myself. Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon.
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Oh, I think my camera is frozen. Let me restart it. Okay. Today we're going to talk about very important style in Chinese calligraphy and painting. It's known as the Jingshi style, the Jingshi school of Jingshi aesthetics of Chinese art. Commonly translated as antiquarianism or archaism. It's the study of ancient art as an inspiration, such as the seal. While I'm speaking, I'm preparing to do a seal engraving, just to get you give you some sense. Have you watched my seal engraving video before? I have like hundreds of them on YouTube. The process of doing a Chinese seal.
Yes. Yes, and I have cards with you on our first workshop many years ago.
Oh yeah, you do, Susan. You're a good engraving artist yourself now.
Yes.
Just to let you know, Victoria did this seal. I'm using the other side for demo, but she did this one last week with a single character, just a practice, I think.
Excellent.
It's a mountain. She picked this character to start with. It's very similar to the standard script. It's a mountain. Very good. Yeah, she has a process pictures. I thought I didn't. She didn't want me any help. She got a water. What do you call this? Hurt her thumb with the knife. By the way, but she said it's very helpful experience to understand the differences of writing style and carving, in calligraphy. So we have two different schools in calligraphy, in contemporary or modern Chinese calligraphy. One school is the writing, the book smell, the book qi. Another school is the Jingshi Wei or Jingshi taste or Jingshi qi, means the bronze and the stone feel or aesthetics. So I'll talk more about that. But what is I just like I mentioned, what is Jingshi? Jing means metal. In ancient times, the Bronze Age. In China, it's the Xia, Shang, and Zhou dynasties. We call the three dynasties of antiquity. Is approximately 4,000 years ago to about Han Dynasty, I think 220. 220 AD. That's the Donghan. That's about 3rd century. So before 3rd century, until maybe 5,000 years, when Chinese writing system was discovered on oracle bone. So the Song Dynasty actually, this could be traced back all the way to Han, the eastern, the later Han. They discovered some old books after the unification of China in Qing Dynasty. They burned all the books, but some survived. So, but when they were discovered in later Han, they are not readable anymore. So there's a study of Guwen, or the ancient inscriptions. You know, there's an English term I just learned this morning. What is it called? Epigraph, right? Epigraph, right? Yeah, the same study of inscriptions in Western culture or other culture. They call this epigraph. Epigraph is the inscription like this. So in broader sense, the Jingshi study or Jingshi epigraph, including everything other than bronze and stone. It could be pottery, could be inscription on bricks. So as Wu Changshuo put it, he has a saying that the Tao is in the inscription on the tiles and the potteries. You know, he collects potteries, like bricks also. So they are a group of scholars. They devote themselves in the study of the inscription on all those cultural relics, you know, including bronze, pottery, or stone, stele, rubbings. So they publish books, and so, you know, in the process, they develop their writing style and their carving style. They also develop this art of seal engraving art. So that's very important become a very important part of the integral part of Chinese painting. So Chinese painting become 4 elements: the painting, the inscription, and the content of inscription, the calligraphy, and the poetry. So they're poets themselves, and the seal, the red stamp. So it's all part of the aesthetics, and the style is the same. You know, the signature. The whole painting is the signature, and including the seal, right? And this seal is a typical Wu Changshuo style. Can you tell some characteristics just by looking at it, looking at this seal? What the aesthetic values they favor? You know, can you describe it?
Is this
a need? Because we know there's some artists in the past in Yuan Dynasty like a neat freak. Is he a neat freak?
Nope.
Why?
The lines are quite
Yeah, it's,
flattered.
yeah. The Tao is in this kind of so reportedly he used a huge knife, like here. This knife actually is named after him. This is the regular one. It's not the smallest one. Actually, Victoria used a tiny little one to do this one. Let me show you. Okay, so we have different sizes here. Yeah, she used this one to do this, but I would use this one at least. That's this is already large. It's named after. If you go to Blue Heron Arts, you'll find this one. called Wu Changshuo knife. Wu Changshuo is named after him. And this one, so you can see how thick it is. Can you see it?
Wow. Uh-huh.
Yeah, can you see the difference? Okay, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is the side of it, and it's kind of a sharpened on both sides. So this is the side of it. It's flat. It has to be this shape, otherwise it won't work. Don't get the ones like at an angle. It could be used as just a pointer, you know, just to get rid of an extra pixel or something like that, but not for carving. So the other values they favor is this. Let me see. You know, I can show you some other examples here. Lao Cang. This is he called himself Lao Cang. Maybe it's just, like an old Cang. Cang is vast. We mentioned this in Wang Yuanqi painting and some other paintings also. You know, it's a very luxuriant, vast kind of feel.
Oh, vast.
Rich texture. Yeah, Cang, right? It's hard to translate this kind of word. Lao means old. That's he called himself nickname. Excuse me. And this one is a little different, right? This one is more like his calligraphy.
Is that longevity? No.
This one is longevity has to do with longevity. The He Shen, He means crane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, crane body. He like embodied the crane or crane. It's hard to explain. Just this is body, crane body. This just literally means crane body. But his calligraphy is based on a stele. Actually, not the actual object is called a stone drum. Stone drum discovered in the Song Dynasty and become object of study. He not only studied the content, also he copied the writing many like a daily practice of this style. It's a old sales script.
Okay.
Old seal script is not squareized, so there's no vertical or horizontal maybe is there, but the vertical is more cursive kind of. So he likes the composition with dense and sparse in the characters. So Chinese painting does not study sketches to learn this kind of principles of composition, but calligraphy of like especially in this kind of square little inch square, really teach you everything about proportion, about the composition, and also more importantly, I'll show you the quality of lines. Okay, and
Henry, did you say the stone drum? This is from the stone drum calligraphy?
This one is I believe so. It's a small seal script seal, but yeah, stone drum is the Qing Dynasty. It's small seal, but before the high clerical style, this become like same size. So basically, these are two characters not in the same size, right? Because it's more free in at that time on this specific stone inscription. So the character, the size of the character varies according to number of strokes or shape. So it's more free than the Han clerical style carvings. And this one is also a small script, but is in a round shape. He adapted the qi, so everything is rounded here. kind of flow. It's a name, so he waved this number. It's somebody's name, 天一, I think. 妙天一, 妙天一. Yeah, this one is just kind of curved according to the qi of the round shape. And this is his own mood seal, 无菌长寿, longevity, 无菌. That's his original name, I believe. So he lived quite long. I think not 90 years old, maybe late 80s or something. Anyway, so this is another mood seal, 诗人 So he used grit, but yeah, this is another name seal. This one is a very famous graded seal. He made this in memory of his original wife. Actually, they didn't get a chance to officially marry. They engaged, but there was a Taiping rebellion, and he escaped to mountains to live for 3 years. I mean, his fiancée was a footbound lady, you know, cannot walk. So she stayed home to take care of his elderly parents. And when he returned, she died of disease, or just, you know, because the rebellion turmoil in the late Qing dynasty. So at the age of 67, I think, yeah, I think there's an inscription on the site says that.
Estoy acá.
Excuse me.
Ya está conectado, pero no puedo agarrar el.
Let me mute you guys, so you can talk to each other if you want. You can unmute if you need. Okay, so let me see the details. I think we have. Okay, here we go. Yeah, this inscription on the side says this is done on his 66. Whoops. What's this? Yeah. Oh, someone is sharing the screen. Okay. So he carved this to remember his. There's a dream he had. So he saw the deceased wife walking under the moonlight when they depart, you know, the last night. So 明月前身. Actually, this is a beautiful phrase. It's like a pure, very pure image, like the pre-life of someone is a 明月流水今朝流水今日明月前身. It's hard to translate. It's some imagery poem in ancient time. He is a pure image, as clear as the moon. 明月前身, yeah. If you take this grid away, you will see none of those strokes are perfectly straight. Yeah, but this frame gives the character some support, and you can see how he used the edges. So one thing we might try to do is to draw a broken edge, a frame, you know, on the paper, to try to see if you can get this kind of lost and found edge. You know, you can draw a square and rectangular before you paint, and then you paint. You don't have to draw the grid in the painting, but I tried the other day. It's fun to do. In a period, I used to do every painting this way. I draw a border like the seal. It reminds me an American artist, John Marion. He always draw his frame in the painting, right? And this is another. Yeah, okay, this is the side. Yeah, he carved this portrait on the side of the seal and record this dream he had met in the dream. They met again in the dream. Anyway, so without the grid, you can see this is pretty empty, right? This doesn't look so good. And this is graded, and you can see how he used the edge and used the stroke to break the edge on the left. I mean, on the right, on the top, on the left, to create interesting connections, combinations of a shape. So these are all very important in painting also, you know, where you enter, where you touch the edge. You know, some customer, it's a long time ago, someone asked me to clear away all these touching strokes from the border because they don't understand this importance. So the border and the image interact. Anyway, I'm going to share with you. You can, since you're not carving it, and I want you to practice one thing. Let me see if I can bring that out. It's called the Shanhu. You know Mi Fu. He is a collector and antique collector, connoisseur, right? Connoisseur. He's the artist who created the dot, the Mi dot, right? Let me show you this. Okay, I'm going to share this. So I did a search of his Sanhu Tie, the copy, calligraphy copy book, not copy book, it's a piece by Mi Fu. Actually, his only painting survived. Okay, this, let me see. Can you, of course, this is not a character, but it looks like it, right? So this is probably the first Jingshi painting, I would say, in Song Dynasty, Northern Song Dynasty. Okay, this is the complete piece. It has a list of items he collected. It's a conversational note. Maybe he had a conversation with his guests, and he boasted what he had. So he wrote down 3 items. 2 of them are scrolls. There's a scroll by Zhang Zhenyu, and then another something. And then he mentioned in large characters, red claw, brush rest, a piece of a brush rest. This is a brush rest made of claw. And he just draw this illustration on the side and indicated the base is made of metal. He's put a Jingzuo. This is referring to this. And you can see how, let me see if I can enlarge this. Yeah. I want to see the detail of this. It's very, very much like the painting we will see by Changshuo. And you know, this kind of line by Huang Binhong, another landscape painter I try to cover today. And this he even wrote a poem describe this treasure in his collection. So this is called the Crow copy, the Crow copy book, calligraphy by Mi Fu. This is unquestionably the only painting he survived. Other paintings, you'll see the raining landscape, horizontal dotted. These are all maybe late copies, if not fakes, you know, in his name, attributed to him. But this one is authentic. Okay, and you can maybe we can try to copy this, maybe, and share this. Because this character, it looks very much like the character I'm going to carve. Okay. Let me write this first. Oh, Victoria, do you have that special paper?
It's at the table corner of the table, beside the window. Beside the window.
Oh, okay. In ancient times, they use kind of a tenzhi writing paper. I don't know if you know that. It's a very thin copy paper. They use that as a transfer, and we Victoria learned from online. Some artists nowadays use this sweat absorb like a facial tissue. All your how do you say, you take oil away from your skin. This is what we use to transfer. I use a different process with a digital design. I use acetone, you know that from my my other videos. But today I use traditional way, so everybody can do this. All right. So let's write the design first. So in seal, you need to create a square or the shape of the stone, if you like. You don't have to design all the chips because the chipping is randomly made. Changshuo, the seal engraving artist, the master in this, he would chop this stone after he carve it, just make the edge chip, and also he would put it in a box full of other objects and just shake it, and then eventually he will use he will sand the stone, not sand, scratch it on the bottom of his shoe to make it look old. So antiquarian is favor of antique look. And I'm going to write this character new. You know this, right? We learned from the finger painting class. This is a large script, and you can write with your brush. Just you can do it in one stroke, like a Mi Fu did. This curved style in his, if you recall that character, we saw the brush rest. He did like this, and he didn't go back. But in writing, normally we can start from both sides and meet in the middle. And then he did something.
Cannot see left
Oh.
corner.
The horizontal is on top, but in this character it's different. This horizontal is on the bottom. This is a character like a we got the nose, the eye. I don't know what exactly this is. You know, the skull of a ox. So the stroke has a beginning, which was a pulse and with the tip hidden at this end, and then it could go like this a little bit, turn back. And normally we have like a turning back, round up, but you can just do it with some control. You don't have to come back, but you know, in the end, you should lift the brush gradually so they don't feel like a sweep. So when you carve, the worst thing could happen is slippery. You just, you know, go. That's not good in carving. So when you carve the stone, you cannot really do this, right? Like a slippery. So that's the first thing Victoria, when I asked her, how do you feel? She said, very different. I said, how different? She said, the most thing she worried was to avoid slippery. So you have to write, you have to carve just like writing to create this very controlled, very slow, but very solid kind of stroke. And especially at the end, you don't want to have those rough corners or ends, all right? You can write the mirror image right on this, but I want to show you how to do this with the this paper. So I will just create a mark of the size of the stone, or you can just write right on top of the stone, right? Let's just take this out. So I'm going to write this character. You can use a smaller brush if you want, but I want to create this kind of image with the thick lines. All right. Don't have to be exact. I just show you the process. And then you wet this surface. Some when we learned this in high school, some kids just lick the surface of the stone, and they still remember this and share this tip on the social network with Victoria. So you put this face down, so you get a mirror image. Oops. Well, the thing is, this stone is kind of black. That's a unusual case. And then you wrap it, and you put some more moisture, not too much, just dampen it. Too much may make it smear, just like that. And I think you press or use a kind of use your fingernail to kind of scratch, rub. Yeah, that's the word. Kind of rub it. But I see the smearing already. Maybe I just press it with my.
You got on the wrong side.
Huh?
You got on the wrong side.
I got the wrong side, but I got the shining side. Should be. Is there a difference?
Of course.
You should use the rough side. I use the shining side.
No, when you put it on, you got one side wet. Either stone got wet, but not too wet.
Yeah, I know. But usually I just put water on this
when you-
side. Yeah.
And you put the paper you write, the side you write on, not the back. You to tap the water on the
wrong
side
side.
you write on. That's
On the
twice.
back side. Yeah. Okay. Let me see if it transfers. Doesn't really do it, but I can see a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I can see the ink. It got smeared. So that's why I use the acetone these days. But I can still see. What I can do is I can use a marker. Can you see it? I can see it. You know, the dark shape at least. Yeah, it got a little bit smeared. So you can use a brush to enhance it. You know, this will help to at least get that draft on. Okay, then you can cover it negatively or positively, right? So if I carve negatively, I take out the black. To
So
avoid
for beginner, which way is easier?
the positive carving, you take out the background, but it will take more time. But no matter what you do, it doesn't hurt. Another thing, immediately, I'll tell you why. I realized, you know, you cannot add to it. So on painting, when you paint, just think about the shrine paper. You know, it's not like rice paper is not like the Western watercolor paper. You cannot lift it, right? So everything you put on the stone is like you put on the shrine paper. So this stone is like a shrine paper, raw shrine paper. You cannot take it away. You can add to it. You cannot deduct it. So that's the game. That's the rule of the game. And you can make multiple strokes. No problem. You can cut from. You don't have to write or cut it the same way as you write. But you have to follow one rule. I think on the stone is when you cut, you get a rough side. And Qi Bai Shi like that. Qi Bai Shi is another seal engraving artist influenced by Wu Changshuo, if not not a direct student, but he learned through a good student of Wu Changshuo called Chen Banding. He moved from Shanghai to Beijing, and where he met Qi Bai Shi and introduced Wu Changshuo to Qi Bai Shi. And Qi Bai Shi spent a lot of time copying Wu Changshuo's paintings, maybe also his seal, and become a different kind of master himself. He introduced the folk art into Chinese literary painting and become very popular. So everybody in China knows Qi Bai Shi than Wu Changshuo these days.
Henry, can you use a stand so that to protect your hands? I feel like I could cut myself.
Yeah, I don't have to protect because see how you do it. First of all, this is not very sharp. You know, it's not. Okay. Yeah, it's very dull. And Wu Changshuo used even duller knife. So one thing in his paintings, he used probably a rounded brush. You know, a very mop-like brush. Okay. Just like this kind of knife, right? Not a pointed knife. So his line is very rounded, dull. Yeah, and you can cut this way if you want to, just directly cut like a. I can also do this way. Just cut down, just like that. Go down like a.
Henry,
Yes.
what kind of stone is this?
This is a soapstone. We call it
Is it a soft?
Soft. Yeah, it's a kind of sandstone in Italy, maybe similar to this.
How is that compared to a piece of wood?
Oh, it's much
Hardwood.
harder. You cannot use laser to cut this. This even no.
Crack.
The laser gun can cut ivory, can cut bones, a horn, but they cannot cut this laser gun. They use maybe to cut wood stems. Will not do this. So we still have to. It's not very. It doesn't really take that much strength or power, but it's the Qibaishi and Wu Changshuo, they lived like 90. If they still carve the stones in their old age. So it's a good exercise actually. I had a class. When I had a class, a lady hold the stone in hand like this, and then put it on against her stomach, just cuff like this, Yeah. And you can have. We have tools like those clamps I use on YouTube. There's this one with a wheel, another one without. This will help you to protect your finger. Usually the hand you hold the knife is safe. You won't cut any. Only thing when you have this accident is like a cut too. Losing control, like a push too far. So I hold the stone with the ring finger and small finger as a brick, and then I push this with this middle finger, right? So they create this kind of you see, I cut this edge. Right? I can also cut down instead of pushing. So this way is a little safer, I think. But it's not producing the kind of, like this kind of typical, we call the cong. There's only two kind of stroke. One is to push, and then one is cut down. Yeah. Okay.
So for beginner, is buying the sandstone, right? You have it.
Not sandstone. We have name for each kind of stone based on where they're from. Some called Qingtian. This is Qingtian, greenfield. This is cheapest stone, and it's Changhua also. It comes in irregular shape on our site. It's a little harder. This is softest. This is softest. And you can try it with the Qingtian first. Yeah.
Okay. And also when you put in the characters, right? You said you have two methods. One, what do you call it? The cosmetic paper, or what's the other method?
Cosmetic paper, I think. Yeah, it has a cosmetic paper. Yeah, just called cosmetic paper.
Cosmetic paper.
Yeah,
so
you remove your sweat before you do makeup. Maybe that's what.
Okay, so then you put the character. You write your character on the rough side or on the smooth side.
Victoria, can you explain it? Because I didn't.
Actually, any kind of sized shuan, if you have sized shuan, sized paper, non-absorbent at all. You can write on the side. Yeah, first you cut the bigger than the surface you are going to carve, and you put on it and make the folding line there, and you take this off, and you write on the paper, on the side.
Which side?
Side. And then you use the writing side facing on the stone. Understand?
No, right on which side?
The smooth one or the rough one?
Should be the thing you write on, because this
Doesn't matter which side, right? It's the same. Okay.
Paper is the same, but if you use the sized paper in the sized Xuan, you need to write on the non-absorbent side. Understand? Not the back. The back is less absorbent.
So I don't know which side is more absorbent.
Non-absorbent. This paper, two sides doesn't matter.
Oh, she's talking about using regular paper like this paper.
Right.
But you don't have to use. I don't think this paper would work the same. So just get this cosmetic paper.
Sized Xuan. I'm talking about.
Size trends is the same. Both sides is size.
Okay, the more sized one.
Oh, the shiny one.
Yes,
with mica, with the side with mica.
Right.
So if you use the Chicata wing paper, that's a good paper.
Right.
You use the shiny side.
Yes.
The shiny side. You can use the Chicata wing paper for the same purpose. You don't have to buy this paper if you don't have it at home already. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is the chipping. You can see to make it look old. You can just use the back of this knife. Just do it like that, and then take out the loose debris, and you can then cut out the edge, round up the edge and the corners. I call this like an old monitor corner, like an very old tube monitor, vacuum monitor, like TV in the 50s, something like that. That's better it looks older in anti-current sense. So that's it. And you can also chip like this, just like inner side of this edge. You just chip directly on the line. You have to do this with with like just like splatter, in painting, you have to take chance. You have to take. If you try to plan it, you have to plan everything. If you do it randomly, it will take care of it for you. That's the dilemma. You have choice. You can design every dot of it. I used to copy a seal like this. It's actually a very famous poet, Xu Zhimo, his descendant brought me a copy of this kind of imprint, and they asked me to duplicate that to make a seal, so they can stamp on prints to send to the gift as a gift to friends. So I copied a seal like this in every dot. It's very hard to do, to duplicate. That's why seal serves as an authenticity mark in painting also. Let me see if I get questions.
Henry, if you have a seal that you don't like anymore, that you want to change it,
Yeah, erase it with a sand, like this. You can sand it off. Actually, it's a good idea to sand a little bit. Like I mentioned, a new seal looks too new, right? So you can sand it right away to reduce a little bit to make it look more. I can show you. So you can do partial editing also by sanding not everything off, but maybe 30%, sometimes even 70%, and then you do the correction. Depends on the situation. Yeah, you can remove it completely with the sandpaper. Very easy. Just grind it. Okay, let me show you the stamp. I use my old one to do initial ones. Like they might be debris on the stone, but to clean this, you can use a brush. Let me just use this paintbrush, a toothbrush, harder brush. You can use an old toothbrush to clean the debris, so you don't blow it, don't press it. Yeah. Okay, and then I can use a duster like this to blow it. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to show you this. Just use my new one. This gets too dry. This is like over 10 years old. This is a newer one. Sometimes too soft when you could just get it.
Is there a way to revive the old one?
There are like refills. You can just buy the refill. It's not worth to buy the oil and then just, you know, it might got not so nice with the color. So I'll just replace it, just recycle the container. You can buy a refill. We have refills. Yeah. And you need to put something under it. You can use a magazine. I misplaced this. Yeah. All right, I think this might do it. I got a mouse pad. This might be too soft. To make a good stamp, you blow a little bit of moisture from your mouse. Don't touch it, just like that, and then you just put right on the paper. Okay, that's yeah. Okay, you like it?
Very nice. You will post it, right? Very
Yeah,
nice.
I'll post it.
I will do one. I will give it a try.
Okay, good. Yeah. So you can carve your last name, Huang, right?
I just put the new. That's to start with, right? Just have fun.
Yeah. Shan and new. It's easier. Okay, so yeah, it's good for the new year. So every 12 years you got one. So that's a good seal to use for this year. And that's it. Any questions about seal engraving? And we'll talk about how to get. You already mentioned it, but next exercise we'll see if we can do a painting with the this style. Let me show you. Okay. Here we have a painting by Changshuo. If you you don't have to read the whole inscription. maybe Ping, you can read the last line. Says 砚有余墨，信笔涂之. How do you translate that? Meaning there's remaining ink on the ink stone. So you just exhausted the. But normally you will wash the stone. Don't leave the ink to dry like that. It will become. You don't really see this, but you can see the ink become crystallized. What do you call this? Grains. So it's not good normally. So the ancient time, for the neat freaks, they will use pure spring water, very clean ink stone, and grind from fresh water every time. Good time to meditate also. But for Huang Binhong, it's a different story. I'll talk about that later. He used overnight ink. Never washed his brush.
Regarding the ink, there are two kinds of ink, right? How can you tell? I don't know what ink I have. So that you have pine ink, or what's the other one?
Tone oil ink is more shining, warmer maybe. Pine is supposed to be a little cooler, but I think many is the shininess, and tone has more oil ink. Tone oil has more tones. Yeah, the bottled ink has fewer tones. If you compare with the bottled ink, you will see more of the difference. But anyway, so we're going to paint this with a remaining ink, which means there's only not much. Maybe just the ink left on the brush, maybe just one load, and then you clean the brush. So let me show you my ink stone here.
So what paper? It's unsized size?
This is unsized. Yeah, he will use unsized paper. Unsized
Thank
paper.
you.
Okay, so we're going to do a rock. Do you want to do the round one? I'll show you how to do this. You want to learn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Last time I showed you how to do the fence. Look carefully, otherwise you make you cut it into pieces, not the round one. So make a square first. Okay. So you cross the corner and cut out the extra. You got that knife here. You know how to do the square. Just make a diagonal fold, and then take the extra off. Okay. You don't have to press too hard. This for measurement. You just loosely, so the fold will not be dead as crease later. So you can save this paper for testing, for blotting, a very useful piece. And then, okay, this is number one, triangle shape, right? And then fold it and make sure you remember which side is the center, which side is the outer corner. Okay, if you use that as the center, you can imagine you will cut it into pieces. That's a common mistake when you make a fence also. So I fold it like that. This is the corner. I mean, this is the center. This is the corner, right? So just holding the center in your left hand or in your right hand. Just keep folding it. Keep folding it in one direction. You don't have to change directions. You don't have to press that hard. I try to find this, but let me turn it around. If you keep quoting, you will not really see this shortest part. You can cut right here, but I want to make another one so it's more it's smoother with the concave or convex. I don't know, concave, right? Convex. I don't know how to call it in mathematic terms. The tangents, maybe you call this tangent line. I'm not really good at the special terminology of this geometry. Okay, let me show you. It should be relatively perpendicular to the straight line. So you cut just a straight line. I think you don't have to cut round, but try to keep it 90-degree angle. It's close to that. Just cut the shortest height from here to here. That's the diagonal. Oh no, the what is this called? The 直径, 半径, right? Pi. What do you call that? I don't know what's the term. So this is a half. That's a fan shape we did before. I don't even know how we cut the fan before. So here's the round one. It's quite large, huh? Any questions about how to cut a round shape? You can try with a computer paper first if you are not sure. Okay. And you know, this wrinkle will go away when you mount it. Right? I'm using a deer wolf brush. It has a it's not so stiff, but it's a wolf hair brush, stiff brush. You can use a landscape brush like this with more bristle. I think football landscape brush or mountain horse brush. I think you can also just use a soft brush because these days soft brush always come with a little artificial hair, nylon hair, so it's stiffer than the traditional wolf brush. Anyway, so just since I got the remaining ink here already, I'm going to use up this. Just like the process of finishing a day, he will use the remaining ink from the stone, maybe already dried. You know, you can add water to get more, but that's how much you have. You only have this much. Let's just say we only have one load of the ink, and typically when you finish your calligraphy, he is a calligrapher. By the way, he was a calligrapher and still engraving artist up until age of 50. Before he did his first painting, with the encouragement of a friend and a mentor, 任伯年. He's a professional painter, in Shanghai. And then Ren Bo-nian said, "Oh, why don't you? You're so good, talented." So he started to continue the painting. So he even remembered the first time he did that. So I'm going to do this rock, and it doesn't really belongs to any of the styles, but this is his stone style. I would call this a Jingshi style because this is basically writing. Like we can do this small one first. Okay, so we do half of the square, and then this half. See, I got too many ink. Doesn't matter. Just the key is you might be different than his and than mine, but just keep doing without reload. You'll get all the variations of ink and stroke. This one I see comes from this corner, and then, so basically they're kind of, this is what's called this half box, and then straight line on this, and then the top, and some loose strokes. He would not use the side of the stroke until much later. So this part of the outline is all done with a large brush, tip concealed stroke, a very typical seal script stroke as we wrote the X, the character. So just keep using it, exhaust it, don't reload, because it's at the end of the day, you want to wash the dish, wash your ink stone. You just want to exhaust the ink without wasting it. So that's the typical painting. Huang Binhong may did the same thing. Later we'll see that. So this is, you got all the variations of wet, dry. When the brush is dry, you use it to do some rubbing kind of, kind of dry. We call it the dry wash, right? Before we do wet wash. See, this is what I do before I do wet wash. I always have this kind of. You see that in the original painting. Okay, so this is the surface texture. We call it cun. Cun means actually cun is between this very dry one and the outline contour. This is the wrinkle, yeah, just like skin, wrinkle on the skin. Now the brush is very thirsty. The painting is still wet, right? Look at this. The aim is to clean this brush, but don't wash it. See, I dip it the water. Don't dip it. I just touch a little bit of water, and I paint again. I got light ink again, and this is Huang Binhong does the same thing. Don't read the books, and they'll tell you there are 7 different kind of tones and the values of ink in Chinese painting, but they don't come on the palette. They come when you wash the brush. So light ink is the remaining ink plus water. See, I got a reverse gradation here, exactly like you see on the original painting. See, because I touched the little. You see the image, right? Let me do this. I touch a little clean water here, not the whole brush. I still have remaining ink in the bottom of the brush. And this is what I do. I just use the heel of the brush to paint, right? You can do that. And don't tone the paper by like too hard. Just you can still use the vertical position. I think the calligrapher always keep the brush straight like that. Even when you do wash, same kind of stroke. Yeah, same kind of stroke. All right. And there's not much mustards. I see just a few, something like that. To break the, I still have remaining ink in the bottom. Yeah, so I don't, I want to exhaust that. In the ancient times, they don't use the bottom of the brush, the heel of the brush as the contemporary artist. And Wu Changshuo probably is like Cezanne. We learned that yesterday in my watercolor class, watercolor master study class with Rob Shiro. Cezanne was born in 1839, And Wu Changshuo was born in 65, I think, 1865. So Cézanne is older than Wu Changshuo. Huh? And another artist to compare is Van Gogh. Van Gogh was born in 1855, I believe, maybe 14 years younger than Cézanne, but still older than Wu Changshuo. But Wu Changshuo is considered the first modern painting of Shanghai school, style, and he did so by going back to the antiquity, the three dynasties in the pre-Han, with inspiration from the pre-Han stone stelaes. Okay, so it's like a Renaissance. They got inspiration from the bronze or the marble statues, like the remnants of Roman and Greek, right? So these are broken, but like Venice, everybody go to Paris, the roof, and wait in lines to just see this Venice, right? I've been roof 3 years ago, I think. So yeah, you got more inspiration from this broken pieces, not in a complete. Otherwise, a new copy of the ancient sculpture may look very kitschy. Right? That's something we want to avoid. So keep the sense of incomplete. In Japanese, they don't have this word for stone and rock. I mean, rock and bronze, stone, 晶石, metal and stone are bronze and stone style in Japan. But they have a similar taste. It's called wabi-sabi. Have you heard of that? But it's more emphasized on the impermanent beauty, passing beauty, imperfect. It's basically something got wrong in the pottery. You still appreciate that kind of or created by time, something like that. But in art, in China, we got inspiration from the ancient inscriptions, and Qi Bai Shi, both Wu Changshuo and Qi Bai Shi were first high regarded by Japanese collectors. We have a book in our online class. It's a book called the Japanese Collection of Wu Changshuo, right? It's a free downloadable book in my online class. Okay, any questions about this? And the next practice would be another, yeah, just look at some other stones here. You can see very elegant 4 gentlemen, 2 of them is orchid and plum blossom with the stone. So his stroke with the branch trunk and the stone is almost the same and derived both from the seal script writing and his landscape. I tried to find another painting. I sent you an email already. If you look at that, yeah, this one. Okay. I didn't see this one until this time when I prepared the painting, and I really like it. It reminds me of another very famous painting in Chinese art history. Is this one by his follower, I will say, Qi Bai Shi. Qi Bai Shi learned the brush strokes and the style from Wu Changshuo, but he introduced something from a child painting, from his memories of his hometown, his Hunan peasant family. He's a carpenter, actually. So Wu Changshuo is a poet. He painted this. Should we do this one, or maybe we can combine the two? Let me give you some explanation first, so we appreciate this kind of art. This one was very famous because you can see it's printed on Chinese postal stamp in 1980, 1979. I have this, first time when I saw this stamp, I think. And it was done at Qi Baishi's age of 91. It's seen on this inscription, a tribute to Lao She. He's a famous novelist, writer. Yeah, he wrote a lot of novels about old Beijing. And one day they are good friends, so he gave Qi Baishi a line of poem written by a Qing dynasty poet, Zha Chu something. Zha, yeah, his last name Zha. And he wrote this line first. So the commission. It was commissioned by this author, this writer, Lao She. This topic is 蛙声十里出山泉. So he got this title first before he paint. So this is more difficult, if someone give you a commission with this line. It's like the imperial test in the Song Dynasty. They give you a poem and they ask you to paint. 深山长谷寺, like a temple hidden in deep mountain, something like that. 蛙声, frog sound, or frog clocking, right? Clocking. My pronunciation. 十里, 10 miles out of mountain spring. In Chinese poem, there's no grammar. It's just the image, image and the sound, the music. So Qi Baishi did this painting without painting any frog. Right. First thing is he did this tadpoles, right? Tadpoles, Kedo, this little baby frogs, 6 of them, and you can see the mountain is only this 2 indigo dot representing the mountain. Here is the mountain, and the spring comes from a mountain with very dense kind of squeeze mouth with the rocks, like the rock we did earlier. Wu Changshuo style, one stroke or 2 stroke rock, and then he draw these lines, these beautiful rhythmic lines flowing 10 miles down. It's a long strip. So we can use this piece that I just cut off from the this fan to do this. Okay. And we can do the rock in a little bit like Changshuo style. Maybe you don't have to do in bonus style. It has the outline instead of just a 1 stroke. It's more difficult to do. Well, I can try. Qi Baishi style. You can do outline and then fill it with the ink if you want, just like the rock we did earlier. Okay, so I'm going to do this painting now, just to vary the shape of the stroke. And see, just like a carving on the stone, you cannot deduct. Just you can do only one stroke at a time, and then negative painting, leave the white. Okay, my water mouth is a little maybe too low already. Okay, let me see. I still have plenty of room down there. So try to do it as high as possible. And then I see the left side. Okay, let me do this. Then the right side are not the same, so we need to vary that. Okay, so we may decide the next mouse, like opening and closing thing is here, and you go up like a little bit, like pushing the brush up, so to create some texture, and then you can. I try not to add, so you create a natural rhythm. And this one, I see a rock like that, and then just like this, and then fill in the gap. Because when the brush gets lighter, you can do this kind of. And from now on, I don't touch any ink anymore. I just touch water, and water is my light ink. Okay, remember, I don't get the light on the palette. Oops, I missed that white spot. That's okay. Yeah, I should have white around that little rock, but I can make it up. I can do another rock down here, maybe just to make it up. And let me make this a little bit. You can add a little stroke. It's one big stroke, one small stroke. If one is not, but not try to do like little stroke. That will be less carefree kind of. So this one, it's the left bank. I leave some gap here. I will do the distant mountain with a little color. That's the only color used is the indigo. So you can close that. So the overlap create depths, right? Overlapping, but you still need to leave a little bits of water suggesting something. This is a red star shine. That's what Qi Bai Shi use, because it keeps the stroke separated with a watermark. Well, not easy to correct mistakes. It's not forgiving, but that's what he uses. Okay, don't try to copy exactly, just the idea. So here I have to make it short because my paper is only like half of that. So I'm going to cut it short. I just go directly to the last section here from this right here. So just go down all the way there, and then just kind of dry brush it a little bit first, and then you add some water to fog it. And here I don't have any bank anymore. So this is a create kind of落差, how do you say, the kind of fall, right? Yeah, falls. Okay, and then that's a little bit of shading is, and a little bit kind of. Now I keep washing the brush, and then you can use a piece of paper towel or just rice paper, just dry the brush. You can use a smaller brush. Actually, it will be easier. We can use, the liner. I got 2 liners. It's by Ren Bonian, named after Ren. Ren, we have a Blue Heron Arts Ren's liner, REN. Ren Bonian he's the patron, not patron, mentor of Wu Changshuo. Wu Changshuo later become the leader of the Shanghai school. Because Ren Bolian died at the age of 55 or something like that, very, very young. So Wu Changshuo lived much longer, until 1907 or something. I forgot. Anyway, so should I do the tadpoles first? I think so, because we need to paint around that. So I just use pure ink on the front and then leave, half of the brush clean. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see details. You can turn the paper around, just to be easier, I think. Let's see if I can rotate this. Yes, I can. See, this is easier. Is it? Because the tail should go this way. So just do a zigzag tail with a rounded dot. Can you do it in one stroke? That's what he can do. Hide the tip to make a round dot, and then let me see. I should practice a little bit. Let's see. Try to one. Look, I see. That's kind of hard. It's harder than I think, because you cannot. Okay, I think you have to get the right amount of ink, so it's not too wet, to give you more time, so you can do slower. Qibai Shi does his painting very slowly, not so fast. Although it's one stroke, but he does it very slowly. Oops, this is too. He used blotting paper a lot, so it's not gonna spread. Yeah. The tail has to be like this. Okay. The tail is like with a little tail, but there's a body or something. Not just a even S shape. It's a little long, then very quick swimming tail at the end, like a fish tail. Okay. Too big. This is like life-size tadpoles. I can make it into a rock, should I? Well, it's a close-up, maybe close-up view. I'll just break that out. Just make it simple. So vary the distance. This one's going down, heading straight down. Well, I kind of cheat a little bit. I draw a circle and then fill it in. Maybe you can do that. And then this one goes a little smoother near the end. So it's getting smoother, and they kind of communicate to each other. It's a little bit closer. All right. You can use a red whisker brush for the waves, I think. We don't have to do exactly. This one's on the stamp. This one is. We can use it Wu Changshuo style, maybe. Just do this. Dry brush. Qibai Shi is a Gongbi painter, by the way. He does a really dedicated work. So we can just do this kind of. Yeah. This is kind of hard, maybe. We can just draw straight lines, a little curvy, it's okay. You can draw a little. And here is the step. Yeah, just make the step clear. So yeah, like you paint the rocks, you draw the main shape, the contour first, then the moderate. You know, you can do less, much less than what's in the original, I think. So I just try to paint the gravity first, so, like the gesture lines of the water, and then you can just follow this, and then some dance, some sparse, right? So you don't have to do exactly every line the same as the original. Try to do the minimum. And then I see some kind of, yeah, there's a mouse, several mouse layers. Anyway, just like a dense, sparse, dense, sparse alternation, like that. And getting looser and then looser in the end. And you know, this kind of stroke is very, you don't have to make pauses like you do with other strokes. So very flowing, but try to create some rhythm, some diagonal, some kind of swirl here. Some interesting rapids. All right. Yeah, just the idea of that. And you can use, if the ink is too flat, you can still add some dry brush on wet. I see some shadow there. Try not to repeat too much. Just try lay down one or two strokes. That's it. And distant mountains, we have some leftover ink from last class. I'll just use this indigo or phthalo, whatever, and a little ink to mute it. It's basically monochrome. Yeah. So let me clean the brush. This time I want to clean the brush. So I got the white clouds clean without the ink. You can use a cleaner brush, maybe not just the same brush. You can use a clean brush with a little blue. With a little other color or ink. Just dilute it, okay. And then you paint two strokes, just like this rock shape a little bit. You don't have to do the triangle, but it's triangle in a sense, just like M, and leave some space in between that indicate clouds to give distance to the yeah. Here I see some closure, so you create layers. You can put more, and you can make that mouse clear. That fall, the bending part. Okay. Anyway, so that's the idea, and you can put some mist wash. You can add a little bit blue to this part, just to echo the top. That's it. I don't see any color here, maybe a little bit. That's it. So you don't have to do any color in the water. I just want to create the contrast. Okay. That's a very small piece. Very small. You can make a bookmark out of it. 蛙声十里出山泉. I think the writing is very clear. I already sent you the image in email. You can copy that. After this drawing, I will inscribe that. Or you can use iron. So next to practice is Huang Binhong. We only have like less than half an hour. Time just too fast. Okay, so close that. Huang Binhong, let me select an easy one. So Huang Binhong basically is a scholar. He spent most of his time studied ancient inscriptions, oracle bone, and also paintings. He was a connoisseur as curator of the museum, National Forbidden Museum for a while. Since he have studied lots of ancient paintings, and every painting he saw, he would draw a sketch in his early years, and this became the base of his creation of a new style based on his sketch of ancient masters. Then he used the same style, the sketch, contour sketch, to do plein air painting. Okay, so the very famous illustration from one of his sample painting or class lecture notes is this one, and I have several books and it has translation of the Chinese translation of this words or this. Basically, I think I mentioned this already. Is the idea of Tai Chi, the Go and the Le, right? When you paint a rock. So we'll study from his painting, and the stroke of doing the house is tip concealed, and doing the slopes and trees like this. So all calligraphic, basically. Okay, let's see what we can do. Oh, this is a stroke. He tried to illustrate just a dash, but it has the ending and beginning and ending. So it kind of turns back, right? And you kind of hide the tip and then turn back. And it has kind of wave. It's not a straight line, basically. And he tried to illustrate something I cannot even understand. But basically, he's saying that even the smallest stroke has a beginning and ending, and the middle part. It has direction of movement, something like that. Okay, this is how he started painting. So I'm going to do this just to show you. Are you familiar with this kind of contour drawing we did in first two class? I think I mentioned his contours. I also mentioned this illustration, like just like you do a rock, you do the upper side, the back side, or left side and right side. There's numbers, how it was evolved. And this is his half-finished painting, with already has dots on it. And this is a picture he's doing in the field. Just a small piece of paper. And his writing of oracle bone, or I think the bronze script. He's a calligrapher. And this two compares the contour drawing to finish the work. Okay, this is the painting I was trying to do, but I think this one is easier because it doesn't really have a composition. It's just doodling. Okay, ready? Okay. So for today, I try to show you the process, both ink and brush using. Okay. So he will start from the dark. A pure dark brush without any gradation. And then you'd add water. When you finish, the brush is clean, the water is clean. I'm going to use this cell of the water right here. Okay. And when I finish, it's still clean. That's the goal. You got it? Go. Don't try to complete in one step. So it's a symphony of elements, all the elements of lines and we call this shenfa. So this composition does not have a plan in the beginning. It just like a Dao, it grows from chaos, right? Yeah, it just one determined the second. So the second stroke always derived from the first one. So you just kind of shenfa means to one produce the next. It's like a grow of the tree, just organic. Yeah, that's the word, I think. So you can finish the main focus with the ink, and then add a little water, so you get lighter ink, lighter gray, lighter or dark, but lighter, and then you do the wash. Okay. Maybe not one stroke, but every stroke should be exhausted before you add more ink. That's the idea. So my brush is still too dark for the leaves behind this tree, so I'm going to wait later. So I just do other part, which is appropriate to this. I'm going to do this rock. It looks like another dark area. So you can do oh, I see. I misread. You see this? Should I make this bigger somehow? Can you see maybe from the handout? Let me show you. And then I don't think I can move this around. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I misread the beginning of this tree. Actually, the root is way under there, so it doesn't matter. Because the paper has a wrinkle, it make a cutting line. So I thought it was there. That's the root is right there. Remember we learned how in Jieziyuan how to do the trees. So I'm going to extend that just to follow the masters. There's a little triangle represented the hollow hole of the tree root. I think and I'm going to make this kind of anyway. So even you make a mistake, it will be part of the painting, just like that. So you just go with just like you're cutting the seal. You cannot really erase anything. You just add to it, right? Okay. Now I have to add second stroke. So at this point, I just do the contours. I'm going to use pure ink, but not really pure all the way to the bottom. There's still like a little, like a quarter inch, maybe still in water. Never got all the way to the heel, right? When I say it's already uncommon, then other artists, they will tell you, to load the brush with water. Just every stroke has to have light and dark, and that's cliche, right? Not Binhong's style. Binhong is cliche, maybe. I don't know. He's too dark. Some people said he's too dark, but I like it, and it's very substantial. So. And you see a lot of pauses. That's just like a calligraphy. You make pauses at the bending point, right? Do you remember we always start with one side and then we match that. So the first one determines the direction, and the second one determines the width of the trunk or the space in between. Okay. And I just go with the ink. The dark ink is here. So this one looks like a triangle. It has a pause there. And just a dash, not parallel, vary the length. And then this one is a little curvy, and then just a little wrinkle there. You can extend that. Don't try to copy, just look at your own picture. Try to vary the shape. And should I do the mountain above? Of course, yeah. So you can stop at any time. This the various stage and still finish. That's the idea. If you only have 10 strokes, just do it in 10 stroke time. Whoops, that's too high. So this would be the top mountain, I think. Not sure I'm doing. So this is the rock under. Okay, and I just keep an eye on the original. I'm not even looking at my brush. But remember, I twist the brush between each stroke, so it stays. It changed. You can also twist the brush in between the strokes, so they don't. And they don't split. Yeah, that's the point. Just keep the brush pointed, and this is the peak point, I think. Yeah, and try to do it to ideal complete with absent stroke. Don't lose the shape, but don't close up all the shape. That's the idea. Yeah, just like writing. So if I need something there, I just put a dash, something simple but certain. Okay, just add a little water. You start to do this kind of. Yeah, I may have changed the style a little. The composition. The dragging veins. Remember, it's the ridge line is very important to be clear. So it goes up there like that, and it goes continue to there. Maybe you hold the brush higher, I think, and then stand if you want to see the whole picture. I think there's a house there, so let me just add a little dark. So this is the tree. This is the house. Is right here. the house is done this way with this brush straight and not much details needed. Just add a little, and there's a cliff. And to think about the size of the shape, the shapes. So this one is the foreground. It has this kind of rock. Where's the entrance? It should be on this side. I don't see steps usually here. Okay, you can do some like hatching strokes. It's okay. But don't do too much. It will be different style. I know an artist. My favorite artist called Fan Yang. I mentioned him in the notes. He is a plein air painter primarily. He does he of course he copied Huang Binhong and other masters like Wang Yuanqi. He also studied ancient Western art like Cézanne. He then goes to natural directly, and then he paints from real things in this style. And I did a study of Western architecture like this one, using this stroke the other day. You can see. So just to tell you, this stroke matters. You know, the quality of the line really create this kind of Chinese landscape antiquarian style. It makes everything looks like a rubbing of an ancient stone, stele, sculpture. Yeah, you can use only the lines, but the dot is needed here to complete the painting, I think. So I can create some paths here. I see some, but if you are familiar, you know, but you don't want to really try to define every step, that something like that. But it's just idea, just the idea. And this is the slope. This is the slope. And okay, let me finish by doing the tree branch and leaves, bushes, some more bushes there, and just adding a little water. This is my ink. Just and this has to be like a wuzhen, you know, the dots has to be rounded and very, how to say, three-dimensional, not just a flat. You know, if you're a good artist in this field, they can tell if you're an amateur or a master by just watching 3 inches of a painting, and they look at your dots and the line. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's the sound of a landscape. You know, I put a link. If you have a chance to watch that music, the music is torturing like electric music sound archives from the 50s, the 50 in the era of the Huang Binhong's time, the recordings. It's a contemporary music, but the idea I like is they can reproduce the sound according to the calligraphy stroke. I wish you can hear my sound. That would be more natural to be considered as the sound of music. It's actually sound less music in the painting, but you can see you can feel it. Yeah. So I'm going to add water just from now to complete the washes and the vegetation. These are
So,
meat.
Henry,
Yes.
for this outline, can I add water, or you said I cannot add water? The
You
water
can, yeah,
needs to be clear.
I already add the water here. You can see I'm sorry adding. Actually, I add too little water. You should add more water. So this is me dots. Basically, I see that I only have 5 minutes. Okay.
Would you add the invisible ink?
No, invisible. No trick. No. Any. Just water. Just water. I use overnight ink or the ink. Ink cake. It's considered ink, overnight ink kind of ink. It's not a fresh ink. Yeah. So that's my dot, right? And you can see the very light one is just to keep washing the brush. So I will use. Let me see if it's too. Yeah, that's the kind of idea.
So for the outline, can we add water or just the one load to paint to?
Basically,
outline?
the line is darkest. Then you see this is a mistake. I got too dark because I pushed too hard to the bottom of the brush. It's still dark, so I can only draw the painting. So he has this. I think the movement is like this. You still paint. When you finish, you still have white between strokes, so you don't lose that kind of stroke. Like if I use the brush like this, the side brush, I got the dark ink immediately. That's too dark. See it here? Yeah.
But my question is, when you draw the outline, do you reload or just the one?
Okay, if it's not enough, like the brush is too small, I have to reload. The other day I used a larger brush even than this one. So I finished the whole painting almost in one stroke. Yeah, you can do that if your brush is large. Another thing I tried to do is to use the water brush. So when I sketch in the field, I use the water brush. So water in the handle, in the reservoir of the brush, right? So I don't have to reload. So I just keep exhausting the brush, and then I change another brush. I change another. I don't use any water container with me. So it's here I can see clearly he does that. He used water in the front, so he just used that. The ink comes out at the bottom. So this is the reverse gradation I see right there, and I see something like this. You see the clean water and the dark. He does very fast. But he has a lot of space between strokes for the color to come. So you just do something very fast and like this, and you can. I don't think there's a wash on the other side. That's a shade. I think it should be it like that. So when I add water to the brush, it has gradation, right? The bottom of the brush is still darker than the front. And you can see that in the distance. Let me just finish some key point so I can, if somebody leaving right now, so this is left, where left, I start from top down and see the light, darker. I know it's going to happen, but not exactly like his, but you can see, I can kind of expect this because I know the gradation is like that, right? And here I can try add a little darker. So I just do this. And then if I get going down, just, and it's exhausted, add more water. And do it again. Exhaust, dry the tip and add water. So I create this kind of effect. See that's what he does, right? Add water. And so the water goes immediately from the container to the paper without going through the palette, right? Then you get all the light this way. So I don't make light here. I just get the water, let the paper does the blending, blend it on the paper. And there's still a lot of white because you don't really wet the paper. You leave white so the ink is shining, not so dead, gray. And you can enhance that with the warm wash. This ink could have a little bit blue in it. If you like, I can add a little blue, just some interest like that. But you don't have to. I think it's easier just to keep. Yeah, I think he might have some blue in this ink. Just to add a little in the distant mountain, it's good to have. Anyway, in the area of our atmospheric perspective theory, you have more blue, right? And here we can have a little bluer on this side. See, I draw this wash, not, but with a very wet brush, okay, like that. And then he works very quickly, so everything blends into each other into a mist of integral part of the whole. Dry first, and then add water. Just like that before it gets dry. And remember the yin and yang. So you learn from first class. Basically, dark against the light. So this is the light. The house, yeah, he got some gray in it. That's okay. Just it's on the inside. Okay, and just you can have gradation. Just clean water, and just a little darker. You can still draw. If the line is not enough, you can still draw. Like you can dot. You can. So in his method, it's very spontaneous. There's no rule. The only rule is 生发. 生发 means one stroke produce the next. Just like a calligraphy, it's all connected, the qi connected. So you have to find connection. You have to connect the second from the first. That's the only. So it's a qi painting. Changshuo, the early artist we studied today, is called wrote in the poem. When I says, I paint the qi, but not the form. Wu Changshuo said, Ku Tie, his name, Ku Tie, 画气不画形, meaning paint the qi, not the form. So that's the idea. So there's not much white clouds. It's all mist. Mist is in the shape of the rock and the trees in itself. So I'm going to use a cleaner brush, maybe just pick a combination brush. Okay, and then use, see if I got the brown color. Okay. I don't have time, just grab what I have. I got the brown here. And you can dilute with lots of water, so it's not covering the ink, all right? And you can just mute it with some dirty colors here, or blue, yellow, whatever. So they're not so pure. But basically, it's a brown color. Not necessarily strong, but I want to put a little bit strong color in the focal area, which is the trunk of the tree, I think. But, you know, again, don't fill in the color and break to block all the white, because you need to keep the breath, the qi. So this, he just dot this, the same idea. He does the all the strokes. It's basically writing. Yeah. So you can paint just using the same kind of stroke. This is horizontal. So my wash is horizontal, and this tree is monocolor, basically just brown, right? Yeah, basically not the green here even. The green is black. Black is green. Okay, here it's the light part. Just on the bottom of this hue, I think. And so it's not a flat wash. You see, I use the brush the same way like this, straight, holding the brush. Just use the tip of the brush to paint like a, because this color is very light, so I don't have to give it too much stroke, kind of. This house should be blue. Let me put a little blue. Since I got blue in the sky, in the peak, I'm going to add. He usually does not do this blue house. I think it will be kind of blue, gray ink, just a little bit, but not too dark. It should be a light part of the. Okay, that's it. And you can put a little warm on the wall, maybe. Helps. And maybe just some gray to unify, so you don't really have to leave pure white. Just see where's the, there's a little white in between. That's good. You just leave it, I think. So just exhaust whatever I have here. That's it. This part, I think I have to define a little bit, so it's not like a flying mountain. I have to anchor this part. That has to do with reasoning. If it's abstract, you don't have to worry about this kind of thing, right? But here we have a representational landscape. We have to tell the audience what's this, what's that. So this is a mountain or tree, or I have to kind of think about the it should be distant mountain in the mist. So that's something. Wet into wet is okay, just to fog it out, but not work too much. And if the ink is nice, just keep it, and people will relate it to something they can name it. You know, it's mist. In the mist, keep it ambiguous. It's good. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? Let me show you some other practice I've done, and I can tell you how fun it is. I did it in one night. This is half of the work I've done, because I waited 45 years almost to do this. Binhong always on my list of study, of read and taking notes. he has so much to learn. In this inscription, he talks about the ancient history of art, like Song Dynasty painters emphasize on the method, and the Yuan Dynasty emphasize on the mental image, something like that. Anyway, but this is from a book I have published by Rongbao Zai, Beijing publisher, and I just copied some of the book. Just have this sketches. I think these are all teaching samples, halfway done paintings, something like that. So you can see the composition where he started, and then if you like, I colored it, something like this. This one is interesting. I want to show you. I experimented with Huang Binhong and Tao Lenyue, the Cold Moon plus Huang Binhong. They live in the same era. Lenyue, Zhao Binhong. I added the sky. I added the reflection. May not seem to work, but it's interesting to experiment. And this is a typical Huang Binhong.
And you post that one?
That one, oh yeah, I'll give you in the class.
The one with the color in the blue.
Sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, this one is a typical Huang Binhong early style. We call the white period, in which he does not do much than the outline, just color without much texture or dots. There's a lot of dots. This one, yeah, it's a more typical, but you can see the trees pretty abstract, and then the same stroke as the rock. Sometimes you cannot even distinguish the two. And yeah, the dots is derived from the master Wu Zhen, that kind of dots. This one I experimented with color. It was black and white in the book. I colored it on my own, so it's a colorful one now, similar to the one we just drew. I added these figures, one holding a Qing, Gu Qing, visiting a friend. There was no figures in the original. So this is my...
That's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I think these two mountains are a little too similar in value, so I added it. This should be more lighter, maybe cold. But I think that one saved it. This is distant mountain. Yeah. Okay, this one I added the remote mountain. There was no remote mountain. So in my painting, I tried to add Western perspective and then keep the Chinese color and strokes, This one, yeah, his composition, I added this color and the distant mountain. This is my color. I like the green. He used green with ink. He combined the green blue landscape with the ink landscape. So he brought the two traditions together. It's academic school and amateur school. Okay, this is, let me show you one more artist I mentioned, the plein air artist, Fan Yang from Nanjing, and he now works in Beijing. Like Huang Binhong, he was a southern schoolmaster, and he lived in Beijing for more than 10 years, I think. So it's a very important experience. He studied the collection in the Palace Museum, when he worked in Beijing. Okay, let me close this one and then, whoops, I think I missed it. What is that? Here. Whoop. Okay, you got it. Yeah, this is by an artist named Fan Yang. He is a contemporary artist. He probably at my age is he he got into college in the same year. We're in the same, belongs to the same class called 1979 class, because everybody knows that's the most difficult entry exam, because there were 10 years of graduates from Cultural Revolution trying to get into the class. So you are competing with 10,000, I mean 1,000 people, one out of 1,000. So I was one of the lucky guy, but I tried to get into the school, but he must be much better than mine. So I got into archaeology. I'm glad I did that, because these days they will have to study the archaeology anyway. So yeah, this is a scene in Guangxi, I think, the Xiangbishan. It's a elephant trunk rock. And he did that with perspective, Western perspective. You can see tourist ship, but his stroke and color, very Huang Binhong, right? This is a very common pictograph kind of composition. I think everybody has this kind of experience, or even in your camera. So it's like a close-up tree with a mountain in the skyline. But he just can do all this with the Huang Binhong kind of approach. He did everything, from Europe here. Let me show you. Maybe I got one of these. Oh, this is another place called Dujiangyan in Sichuan. I have been there. It was the first irrigation system. It still served the purpose. And then there are some temples there. Very interesting temple, not Buddhist, not Taoist, but Gongbao, Gongbao chicken, Ding Gongbao. He has a statue, it was honored there. That was a really, I always remember that. And of course, the builders of the dime are Wang Miao. But they worship Gongbao. He's a local official in Qing Dynasty. And we still have Gongbao chicken, right? Gongbao that's his temple there. And he did this in a raining day, so you can see the mist and the perspective, Western perspective, but very calligraphic, very Jingshi kind of style, like a stone. Yeah, this is a fan face he did, Fan Yang did in Huang Binhong's style. You can see two literati scholars, but I think there's some kind of perspective. The house has a. Yeah, he is a talent. He's definitely a talent. He combines his goal is to be. To be placed among the ancient masters in the museums. So you cannot, he's one of them. So he can, but he does everything from, last year he did a lot of sketches from the hospital. About this time, 1 year ago, he did the hospital with the COVID-19 patients. I didn't have that in my file, but he does everything he saw on TV, like Olympics games. He was actually given a medal for doing the Olympic athletes. He's a good artist. He does this is a ocean scene, and you can use the same kind of stroke here to do it. And let's show you. See that? And the color. As simple as green, brown, and indigo. 3 colors, yellow, red, and blue, plus ink. That's Huang Binhong used. I didn't use any green here, but we could add a little, if you like. And just to show you. So the green can serve as a lighting like a white, you know, to add, to reduce the like here it's, oh, I don't have the image here. Like this part is too dark. For example, I can add a very thin milk kind of green to mystify it. You know, if you look at the 1 hour presentation of this electric music here in landscape on YouTube, there's a presentation by this PhD candidate, a lady in San Diego, UC San Diego. She studied, he used some kind of special camera to take different photos, so she can tell the process of the painting. He can tell which layer comes first. And then the final layer is of water with barium. It's a chemical never found in any kind of pigments. Barium. I don't know. I checked dictionary. It's a bay in Chinese, but I think maybe just light green, mineral green. I'm not sure. I'm not a chemist. So yeah, just a mist of that. This is the number 3. Number 1 will be this intense, too dark. So this is almost like white, right? Barium white. So yes, this raised the question where the color comes from, and nobody realized that until 5 years or 7 years ago. They did this scan of the painting in modern technique. They have a center of cultural heritage engineering center or something like that. So they did do a diagnostic, like treating a patient. You use all different X-rays or whatever to scan the painting to tell the status of the painting and how it was made and how to anyway, that's an interesting way to look at the Huang Binhong, and only Huang Binhong deserved that, I think. Yeah, he has so much depth in his painting, 7 or 5 layers of doing this. But he used, yeah, they mentioned the overnight ink was kind of added after all is dry, so it's floating on the top. But not necessary. From my experience, overnight ink maybe comes first. So just my my personal opinion. But you can still add the darkest to dark after it's all dry. I think to wake up, we call that, you know, like a wake up call, accenting in English. You can use overnight ink because overnight ink is very opaque. Okay, and thank you for the extension of your time. And sorry, every time I try to cover too much. This should be like a, you know, a class by itself. And these 2 artists deserve at least 1 class. We only have 4 classes left. The reason I'm doing this is I try to jump right to the next master, Li Keran, in 20th century. But when I studied his bio, Huang Binhong was his teacher, and Xi Baishi was his teacher at the same time in Beijing. And before that, he was a student of Ming Fengmian in Chongqing in wartime. But these 3 figures must be mentioned, okay, before Li Keran. So we are out of time, basically, for artists left. But we don't have time even for Zhang Daqian or, you know, some other artists. Let me see if I can do that. But we have to cover 2 masters from now each class, if I could. Yeah, thank you for all your interest, and I hope you.
Henry, could you tell us which ones will you do the next time? So maybe we could read up on it a little bit.
Historically, chronologically, we should cover some people from overseas students returned to China to found schools like, you know, we have several schools. One is the Hangzhou, I think Ming Fengmian is the artist most interesting.
Mhm.
Next, he founded the 国立艺专 the National Fine Art Academy in Hangzhou. I know many of you have studied there. Right?
Yes, yes.
林凤眠, let's do 林凤眠 at least, and maybe some other his student most famous is the Wu Guanzhong, you know, but I don't like to do Wu Guanzhong. He also has a student in France, several students in France. 4 of them actually, one in China and the other 3 in France. One is Zhao Wuji, abstract expressionist. Zhao Wuji and
I like Zhao Wuji.
yeah, I know. Should I take give you 10 other lessons?
Yeah, extend it.
Sure. Let me think about that. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, might as well.
If we have like 10 more, I will go slow and I will cover Zhao Wuji. I have Zhao Wuji's books and recent a category from last year, maybe 1 year before now, show in the States.
I think it's better to not rush it.
Do not rush it.
2 more.
A little too rush. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go with the flow. By the way, I'm in the process of doing a series of 8 lessons through a public library in New York. It will be on Wednesdays from March, I think. And that would be for beginner students. But you are welcome to join. It will be a free class. They pay me, but you don't have to pay. Sounds good?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's called the
Yes.
memory
Please tell us.
Memory of a Hometown. It's the theme. Yeah. Basically landscape. I will cover basically Chinese part. They already started yesterday from with another teacher doing watercolor. So I'm going to do ancient brush painting, and another artist who will do cartoons of New York. Something like that.
Where is it, Henry?
I will let
What
you know.
university?
Yeah, they will announce it. I shouldn't mention this in the public yet because of the contract. But I know they are in the process of finalizing it. I did a painting in what they call this demo teaching sample lecture. And I did this Huang. Did you see that? Okay, I did this painting for the test, for the interview, and they liked it. I taught them interviewers this painting, but I didn't videotape it.
Henry,
Nice.
I would
Nice.
love to learn from Chui Bei
I'm going
Hong.
to teach this, in that class for sure.
Chui Bei Hong and Zhang Daiqin.
Zhang Daiqin.
Zhang Daiqin, Chui Bei Hong. Chui Bei Hong.
Xu Beihong, yeah, Xu Beihong is from France also. So
Yeah,
Xu
and
Beihong,
yeah, those are my favorites.
I know Xu Beihong so there are 2 kind of masters in contemporary China. Some of them are educators, teachers, like Xu Beihong, Lin Fengmian. They each founded a school. A university, headed the university. Xu Beihong was in Central University. My teacher was a student of Xu Beihong, the Central University.
Yeah, because I have Chui Bei Hong and his paintings. And my parents collect Zhang Daiqin, Hai Bakse, and Cheng.
Wow.
Yeah, he has a collection in there.
Yeah, I know in this class there are several of you original paintings from Qu Baishi. Oh, so you are very rich. Just kidding.
That's why I'm familiar with those. I'm not really familiar, but I admire them because I see them in my parents' home in Hong Kong.
Oh,
Wow.
maybe you can share with us your collection, your family collection.
tried to look for them, and I took some picture, but I can't find them. Maybe I'll look at the.
If you could find the pictures, share with us.
Yeah,
I know
if I find the picture, I'll share with you guys.
share
But they are really
some
valuable.
带饰 from your mother's collection. Okay, so I will think to continue this class to add another 10 so that we have more time to talk about 20th century masters. Okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
Good news. Good news.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, I was thinking to do 2 classes in 1 week. It's a little bit heavy, but if we concentrate on painting, it's a little easier than than the historical presentation. Although I can get more and more just from there are books on Huang Binhong and free books and on Tan Tianshou also. I already uploaded there. I think Linda Ann, she provided a book on Huang Binhong. I haven't got a chance to read. But there's a book, you can download it. I will put the link Linda shared with me in the class.
Great. Yeah, maybe 朴信宇.
Oh, 朴信宇 is definitely a choice. So I have on my list the 朴信宇, 张大千, Huang Junbi. Huang Junbi is my teacher's teacher too. And these are 3 masters in Taiwan. And also Lingnan School, we didn't mention it. Hao Nian, he's a living master, but his teacher Zhao Shaoan and Gao Qifeng, Gao Jianfu, 2 Gaos. And I talked about the Ju brothers in my bonus painting on flowers, but in landscape, there are many in mainland China. There Ni Xiongcai, Guan Shanyue, and Yang Shanshen also in Hong Kong. They're all very good. Changshuo, they're Japanese influence. Lingnan School is probably the most popular in overseas China.
Yeah.
Favorited by many Western brush.
Yeah, I love the Ningnan School of painting.
So yeah, Lingnan School is a big school, and then another school is the Xi'an Chang'an Pai, Xi'an School, Shilu. Oh, he's my favorite. Shilu. Shilu is like a Van Gogh in China, I think.
Well, so there's lots to cover in the next section, huh?
Oh, definitely. So we'll stay with the 19th century for now, huh? So at least the people who were born in the 19th century. Then we'll get to. So Huang Binhong died in 1955, 5 years before I was born. So I consider, we still have some kind of, overlapping, right? 50, yeah. So my teacher's generation have direct contact with this artist, this generation. So we, my own classical landscape painter Han Shaoying is among the 4 masters of Nanjing. He's also good. So yeah. Oh, I didn't mention that Fu Baoshi and his Nanjing school masters, 4 masters of Nanjing school, Ya Ming, Song Wenzhi. I had personal experience with them, learning experience with these 2. And Wei Zixi, I had a class from his daughter several years ago, Wei Zixi. And Qian Songyan, I met his granddaughter in an airplane when I traveled back from China. So we became friends. She lives in LA, and she gave me some good books written by her mother. She's also an artist, daughter of Qian Songyan. He's the most unique style of Nanjing school masters. Very recognizable, very high status in art history. So Qian Songyan is also on my list. he does finger painting too, finger painting master too. So yeah, I'm going to wait this dry and inscribe it and send the final copy. So you got the idea.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have to go.
Yeah,
Henry,
Yeah.
Henry,
yes.
this is Mike McFarland. And when you inscribe it, could you tell us what your inscription is, at least what the characters are? I think those are interesting.
Which painting?
No, if you said you're going to inscribe this painting.
Oh, I probably just put a tribute or homage to Huang Binhong or something like that.
Well,
this one doesn't come with a title, I think.
It would be interesting to know what the phrase is for in tribute to, because then we could use
tribute.
it.
致敬. I think I put on many other paintings already.
Yes, you have, but I haven't actually seen. It would be interesting to know what the characters are.
Oh, this kind of conventional thing. Yeah, if it's a poetry, I would translate that.
Great.
So I just say Binhong 印象 means the impression of the Huang Binhong. It's not the exact copy, right? And then on this one, I varied a little bit. I said 倪Binhong 意. 倪 means guess or something. Or virtually idea, after the idea, in the style of, I think, yeah.
If I had a phrase that I could use, then I could just copy it each time.
Yeah, I can give you several options. If it's more creative copy, you can say like this, 拟 someone's idea.
Okay.
That's a more creative way.
All right.
And then you can say, yeah, the impression of someone, right? That's another loose copy. And if it's an exact copy, you can say 仿. This one will be a 仿, but I put practice, 练笔. But this is not a common phrase. I just put it. Yeah.
Well, I would just like to see the image. I'd just like to see the image of the characters because I can copy characters.
I'll send you these paintings and with the inscriptions on that.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That would be really helpful, Henry.
I
think
think
everybody
so.
would like to get that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You all like inscriptions. Yeah, that's a very important part of the brush painting. Yeah.
It's a part of the painting, right? I mean, it's a part of the whole. Yeah.
Yeah, because like this painting, without the title, it doesn't really make it different. You know, this frog song. This is a famous painting. We never use descriptive title because I think on the handout I just originally I put tap pose, right? This is a tap pose. Tap pose. But I think it doesn't make any sense if it sounds like a tap pose. You know, oh, it's just a little, you know, like a. But if you put this title, 蛙声十里出山泉, it makes much sense, right? 蛙声. So we always in the book we always have the full title. We don't use like a frog song or something like that. 出 蛙声十里出山泉. I think I already translated in the handout. Okay, you can find this line in the handout.
It's in the handout, Henry.
Yeah, Frank's song.
The tap pose in the 10 miles swimming down the rain.
Yeah, water, right. Okay, yeah, that's a descriptive title. There's a translation of this poem should be, and I'll put after 齐白诗. I will say 致敬 tribute, because actually this was invented by I translate back from English, because originally Emily wrote the homage to someone in our class. So I translated it back. We don't say this in classical Chinese. This is our class invention. I take credit for that, giving Emily. And so we always now use this word. I think it's homage instead of mimicking.
Yeah.
Or attribute to something. We don't make money. We just pay respect to. This is pay respect to. Yeah, homage to. We don't have to say to because 致 means to. 敬 means respect. 致敬 means yeah. 致敬 like this. Like you don't see my face. Sorry. This is a 致敬 致敬.
Wow.
This
a salute.
Yeah, salute.
Salute
Yeah.
to.
Salute, right? Salute to.
Homage sounds better.
That's just a different translation. Salute to 齐白石. Sounds okay. Yeah. And I'll put the year of rat still.
That way we can use it over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can use this on any painting with the master's name replaced. So I put a little just date the end of 庚子 the rat Henry Xiaohui. Yeah. So this would be a complete painting. I will put a stamp on here. So in the inscription, you can put a title and the recipient on the name of the collector also was on the original painting, and then the author of this line is Qing poet, also indicated. There are several lines on the original, but I don't have to do that. I think because I already give Qibaishi credit to the homage. Right? So that completes it. So this add the movement, the qi, right, to this painting. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me see if any other comments in the. Okay, no. Oh, the New York Brooklyn Library is hosting the event. I'll release the news, because they only have limited seats. The last class had 62 already, so I don't know how many seats left. So I'm not going to advertise it until they started. Yeah, so. And anyway, we're going to continue this class, even though that's limited. But that class is more for beginners. Most of the students are from the local senior homes, something like that. They're providing them with free supplies. Very good program. Yeah, so that just like for the benefit of the seniors. How many of you are seniors? I'm going to be seniors soon.
Me?
Yeah. So there are a lot of resources for the seniors in this country.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but you don't have to be senior to join my class. I think you're welcome to join.
Thank you.
My priority is to giving my current student and my online class the information, not unless you're getting this directly through the library. They are open to general public, not limited. That's why they use me, not just a local artist. Because I have they want publicity. In other words, yeah. So it would be a publicity campaign for them. New York Brooklyn Library. You can check that. I think it's called the Memory of Hometown. Check online, you'll find it. Okay, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.